Thanks, Emily. Well, all week long, we have been counting down the spookiest places in Western New York. And with Halloween only a day away, I met up with Mason Winfield of Haunted History Tours to take a tour of East Aurora and find out a little bit about the haunted places there. In order to set the scene for Halloween, we're going out and finding some information on the haunted places in Western New York. We're here with Mason Winfield, of course, in East Aurora. Now, Mason, you do a tour where you talk about ghosts and haunted history, but let's set the scene. Let's talk about what makes East Aurora such a hot spot for paranormal activity.
Yeah. Well, East Aurora fits a couple of the classic patterns. For one thing, it's most likely ancient battlefield. Skeletons, an ancient fort, things like that were found here. It's also on a very powerful ancient Native American footpath, 20A, which is the main street. Those tend to pick up stories. Finally, you've got the Roycroft campus, which with its magnificent architecture, its mystical tradition, there does appear to be some kind of a radiance to the Roycroft, and supernatural folklore just springs around it.
All right, now we're standing in a graveyard right now, really just to set the mood. You don't take people to graveyards, so where does the tour take?
We walk through the village streets. We start at the Roycroft campus, head down Oakwood Avenue, we end up on Main Street, and we hit most of the highlights at the east end. All right, well, we don't want to give you too much information because, of course, the best way to experience is to go on the tour for yourself. Yes, we don't want to scare them too early.
All right, well, we're excited to welcome Mason Winfield of Haunted History Ghost Tours into the studio. We found out a little bit about the haunted history of East Aurora. So, you know, in honor of Halloween, what do you think of some of the spookiest stories in Buffalo? Well, if share one of them with us.
Share one of the spooky. Oh, I've got a new one.
All right.
I always like it when contemporary experience coincides with old folklore, you know. And I was told the story by a couple of cops, actually. It was outside Houghton Academy in Buffalo. They were there at night. There is a athletic field there, and there's a fence. And there's only one way to get through this fence. The cars are parked, their headlights are out there. They see a shadow, a human being, walking through the field towards the opening in the fence. The shadow comes up to the opening, it vanishes. They say to each other, you want to go check that out? Yeah, so they go over there with the cars, headlights everywhere. There's no human being there, but right on the ground at the break in the fence is a black cat. It's a stray. And it's just, and instead of, you know, stray cats usually run away from you. And it's just kind of laying on its back, kind of looking at them. And my native friends would say, well, that was a shapeshifter.
Now, you know, when we're talking about ghosts and all of these other paranormal activities, for the people that are interested in it, how did you get into it? How do you start to find these stories?
Very carefully. I mean, you keep files, you expose yourself to absolutely everything that's been published. You do a lot of interviews, and, you know, but I've been doing it for quite a while. I've got very extensive files.
And one of the things we were talking about when we met up last time is that you also, you know, you do it appropriately. You find out a lot about the history. It seems like you're not one of those people that does it all at night. It seems like a little bit different of approach that you have.
Yeah, it's too scary at night. I mean, you might see a ghost. Actually, I'm sort of the researcher and the historian. I'm the guy who does the backstory on the sites, who looks for the patterns, who looks for the profiles, who tries to make sense out of the big picture. I'm not going to go tearing off into a haunted building and hope to encounter a live ghost.
And now, you know, we're looking at pictures of all of the haunted history ghost walks. Real quick, give us a little rundown of where people can, you know, meet up with you and how they can get a hold of you to take these tours.
My website, hauntedhistoryghostwalks.com.
And when is the next tour happening?
Oh boy, we've got them going all week. I mean, when is it not happening this week? The next tour I'm leading is Friday evening. I'm doing a ghost walk of Allentown. And then Saturday evening is the Grand Haunted Pub Crawl of East Aurora.
Oh, perfect.
It probably will sell out, so if anybody wants to go on that one, prepay.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mason.
What an honor. Thanks. This is fun.
It is.